Every time you walk into an airport and hand your suitcase across the check-in counter, you are participating in a massive, highly synchronized global logistical ballet. You watch that familiar rectangular piece of fabric disappear behind the overlapping rubber curtain, hoping it will magically meet you on the other side of the world. While you walk away empty-handed to take off your shoes and clear security, your luggage embarks on an independent, solitary voyage through one of the most advanced automated networks ever constructed by human engineers. To truly understand what happens to lost luggage, we first have to understand how a bag is supposed to move through the system when everything goes perfectly. This requires looking past the polished floors of the departure hall and diving into the incredible technology that powers modern aviation. The journey begins the moment a passenger interacts with an airline, whether they are speaking to an agent at a traditional full-service desk, tapping the screen of a self-service kiosk, or utilizing a curbside drop-off station. The first and most critical step in this entire process is establishing the identity of the luggage. When your bag is weighed and accepted, the agent or machine generates a small, unassuming strip of thermal paper. This is the baggage tag, and it is far more than a simple receipt for your belongings. It is your suitcase's passport, its visa, and its boarding pass, all rolled into one highly engineered piece of paper. This tag is printed using thermal heat rather than traditional ink, ensuring that it cannot easily smudge if it gets rained on while sitting on the tarmac. It is also reinforced with synthetic fibers so that it resists tearing even when caught in heavy machinery. Printed on this tag is a unique 10 to 12-digit alphanumeric code, along with a linear barcode or a two-dimensional matrix barcode. This barcode acts as a license plate for your bag. In modern aviation hubs around the globe, these tags are increasingly paired with radio frequency identification or RFID inlays. This is a massive technological upgrade. Unlike traditional optical barcodes, which require a direct line of sight to be read by a laser scanner, RFID chips emit a faint radio wave that can be detected wirelessly from several feet away. This means that even if the baggage tag is crumpled, turned upside down, completely obscured, or partially hidden beneath a thick nylon strap, the antennas placed along the conveyor path can still hear the bag's digital identity as it flies past. The information encoded on that tag is staggering in its comprehensiveness. It details the passenger's name and frequent flyer identifier, the primary flight number and date, the destination airport code using the standard three-letter format set by the International Air Transport Association, any intermediate connecting flight numbers, transfer points, and vital security screening clearance markers. Once this tag is securely wrapped around the handle of your suitcase, with the adhesive ends pressed firmly together so it cannot easily peel off, the agent drops the bag onto the scale belt. The belt lurches forward. At that exact millisecond, the bag officially transitions from being your personal property to being a tracked parcel within a multi-billion-dollar global supply chain. The space beneath a major commercial airport terminal is a marvel of industrial engineering that most passengers will never see. While you are hustling through brightly lit shopping concourses, buying expensive coffee, and waiting at boarding gates above, a subterranean world of steel, vulcanized rubber, and electronics hums and roars 24 hours a day. As soon as your suitcase slides down the drop chute behind the check-in desk, it enters a sprawling, interconnected network of conveyor belts. These systems are not small. They can stretch for dozens of miles, weaving through dark basements, tunneling beneath active taxiways and runways, and crossing between entirely different terminal buildings. The belts do not merely crawl at a walking pace. They often move at speeds exceeding 20 feet per second, propelling hundreds of thousands of pieces of luggage through the infrastructure like cars on a high-speed underground highway. Along this high-speed route, your bag must be constantly tracked. It passes through automated inline reading tunnels, which resemble glowing arches suspended over the belts. These tunnels are lined with high-resolution digital cameras and rapidly spinning laser scanners that capture the barcode on your tag from multiple angles simultaneously, all in a fraction of a second. The moment the barcode or the RFID chip is read, the data is instantly beamed via fiber optic cables to the airport's central baggage sorting database. This computer system possesses total awareness of the airport's operations. It knows every single flight departure time, every gate assignment, and every routing rule for the entire day. Within a few milliseconds of scanning your bag, the computer makes a split-second decision on where it needs to go. If your flight is departing soon, the system directs the bag toward the specific loading spur designated for that flight. If your bag needs to change planes at a connecting hub, it is routed toward a transfer area for outbound connections. If you happen to be a passenger who arrived at the airport 6 hours early, the system knows your plane isn't even at the airport yet. In this case, your bag may be diverted into an automated storage and retrieval system. This is essentially a massive robotic warehouse where thousands of bags are safely parked in individual slots. Giant mechanical cranes glide back and forth in the dark, pulling bags off the shelves exactly when their respective flights are ready to be loaded. To execute these constant routing decisions, the conveyor system utilizes an array of high-speed mechanical diverters. As your bag races down the belt, pneumatically powered pushers might suddenly shoot out and shove your bag sideways onto a different track. Tilt tray sorters might drop your bag onto a secondary belt moving below it. High-speed belt convergence junctions carefully merge streams of luggage from different terminals, utilizing complex algorithms to ensure bags slide into empty gaps like cars merging onto a freeway without causing catastrophic jams. Despite the incredible sophistication of these machines, physical anomalies are inevitable. A loose backpack strap, a dangling shoulder harness, or a frayed zipper can easily catch on the side of a spinning roller. When one heavy bag snags and stops moving, the bags behind it continue moving at high speed, crashing into it. This can trigger a cascading backlog, leading to a massive baggage jam. When this happens, alarms sound, the system automatically halts that section of the track, and human technicians must physically climb into the machinery to untangle the mess and get the flow moving again. Once the automated belts have successfully sorted your suitcase, it arrives at what the aviation industry calls the makeup area or the baggage pit. Here, the sterile automation ends and human baggage handlers take over, though their grueling work is heavily aided by specialized equipment. Baggage handlers, or ramp agents, have one of the most physically demanding jobs in the aviation industry. Working in an environment filled with the deafening roar of jet engines, the overpowering smell of aviation fuel, and extreme weather conditions ranging from freezing blizzards to blistering heat waves, they must organize hundreds of suitcases into specific configurations depending on the exact type of aircraft being loaded. If you are flying on a narrow-body aircraft, handlers typically use a method called bulk loading. This means they must physically lift every single bag, golf club, and baby stroller from a baggage cart, heave it onto a belt loader, and send it up into the belly compartments of the aircraft. Someone must crawl into the cramped, unconditioned cargo hold, stacking the bags tightly by hand to maximize space while carefully maintaining the plane's weight and balance requirements. If you are flying on a massive wide-body aircraft meant for international travel, the process is different. These larger jets utilize unit load devices, commonly referred to as ULDs. These are highly contoured, heavy-duty aluminum containers or pallets designed to perfectly fit the exact curvature of the aircraft's lower fuselage. Down in the makeup room, handlers build a solid wall of luggage inside the container, locking it all down with heavy canvas cargo nets. Once the container is entirely full and weighed, a specialized forklift or a massive mechanized loader drives up to the aircraft and lifts the entire metal box into the plane's lower deck in one smooth motion. This method is vastly faster, significantly safer for the handlers, and far more organized. Before the heavy cargo doors are hydraulically sealed shut, a critical security and reconciliation process takes place. Airlines operate under strict international safety regulations known as positive bag matching. Under these global aviation standards, if a passenger checks a bag at the counter but subsequently fails to board the aircraft, that passenger's luggage must be located and physically removed from the plane before it is allowed to take off. This stringent security protocol prevents bad actors from checking a bag containing hazardous materials and then slipping out of the airport without traveling alongside it. Only once the passenger manifest exactly matches the baggage manifest are the cargo doors closed. The aircraft pushes back from the gate, the jet engines spool up, and your suitcase takes to the sky. When you finally land at your destination, walk down to the arrivals hall, stand at the carousel, and watch the conveyor belt slowly wind down to a halt without your suitcase ever appearing. It feels like a catastrophic failure of the entire system. Your heart sinks. You are left standing with a group of strangers, wondering how something so simple could have gone so horribly wrong. In reality, statistically speaking, the vast majority of commercial luggage arrives perfectly safely. Mishandled baggage rates have plummeted significantly over the past 2 decades, dropping drastically even as global passenger volumes have shattered all previous records. The modern baggage system is a triumph of logistics. However, when you multiply a tiny fraction of an error rate by the billions of travelers taking to the skies every single year, hundreds of thousands of bags still go astray. Crucially, industry experts emphasize a very important point. A vanishingly small percentage of mishandled bags are ever truly lost or stolen. The overwhelming majority of them are merely delayed. The most common culprits behind delayed luggage are deeply tied to the complexities of modern travel. Short connection times are the single largest driver of delayed bags in the world. If your first flight takes off late due to a thunderstorm and arrives at the connecting hub 20 minutes behind schedule, and your next connection leaves from the opposite side of the airport in 45 minutes, you might still make the gate by sprinting through the terminal. Your suitcase, however, cannot sprint. It has a much harder time. It must be unloaded from the belly of the first plane, driven across miles of tarmac on a baggage cart, or injected into the underground tunnels, rescreened by automated systems, and loaded onto the second plane. If the operational window is simply too tight, the bag misses its transfer. You make it to your destination. Your clothes do not. Tag damage and read failures are another massive factor. If a baggage tag is torn off by a fast-moving mechanical roller, smeared by hydraulic grease from a belt, or accidentally ripped off by a passenger loading their bag into a tight spot, the bag instantly loses its electronic identity. Without a readable barcode or a functioning RFID signal, the automated system has absolutely no idea what to do with it. The bag falls off the main sorting belt into a manual exception area where an agent must physically inspect it, looking for secondary clues to figure out where it belongs. By the time this manual intervention happens, your flight has usually already departed. Human error at check-in or during the transfer process also plays a role, albeit a smaller one, in the automated age. A ticketing agent rushing through a line might accidentally type the wrong 3-letter destination code into the computer terminal, sending a bag destined for San Juan to San Jose. Similarly, a ramp agent working the night shift in pouring rain might misread a physical label or load a container onto the wrong cart during a busy push at a massive international hub. Finally, massive weather and operational disruptions throw the entire delicate system into chaos. Severe summer thunderstorms, deep winter blizzards, or air traffic control computer failures can cause flight schedules to disintegrate. When planes are rerouted, canceled, or delayed en masse, the supporting baggage infrastructure on the ground is stretched to its absolute breaking point. This results in thousands of stranded bags sitting in transfer terminals, waiting for days while their owners are put on later flights. The moment a passenger walks up to the baggage service desk and reports their suitcase missing, a powerful, largely invisible global machinery swings into action. The airline employee taking your report opens a specialized software interface connected to a massive network called World Tracer. Developed decades ago and continuously updated by international aviation IT organizations, World Tracer is the digital nervous system of global lost luggage recovery. It is a centralized, cloud-based database used by hundreds of airlines and thousands of airports worldwide. Because airlines share connecting flights and alliance networks, they need a universal language to talk to each other about missing items. When your delayed bag report is officially filed, the agent inputs incredibly granular details about your suitcase into this system. They do not just note that it is a black bag. They enter the airline and flight numbers, the brand of the luggage, the precise dimensions, whether it features a hard polycarbonate shell or soft ballistic nylon construction, its primary and secondary colors, and any distinctive features. Distinctive features are gold in the world of luggage recovery. A neon green strap, a specific heavy metal band sticker, a dent on the left corner, or a bright ribbon tied to the handle makes a bag infinitely easier to find. They will also ask for content categories, whether the bag contains men's clothing, women's clothing, specific electronics, or sports equipment. WorldTracer features highly sophisticated matching algorithms working constantly in the background. If an anonymous tagless bag is found sitting by a pillar at an airport in Frankfurt, a ramp worker there will examine it and manually log its physical description into their terminal. The system instantly compares that newly found bag's profile against all open delayed baggage reports worldwide. If a passenger standing in an office in Chicago reported a missing red hard-shell suitcase with a distinctive surfing sticker and 2 broken wheels, and a matching bag turns up halfway across the world in Frankfurt, the WorldTracer algorithm flags the connection with a high probability score. Human agents verify the match, and the system automatically generates an expedited routing instruction. The bag is given a rush tag and placed on the very next direct or connecting flight to Chicago, overriding standard cargo protocols. Once the missing bag finally lands at your destination airport, the airline does not usually make you drive all the way back to get it. Local courier services or specialized airline contractors retrieve the bag from the baggage office, load it into a delivery van, and drive it directly to your home, office, or hotel room entirely free of charge. For the vast majority of travelers, the agonizing missing bag saga ends right here, usually within 24 to 48 hours of their original landing time. While the overwhelming majority of delayed bags find their way back to their rightful owners within a few days, a tiny fraction, estimated at less than 0.1% of all checked luggage globally, remains permanently unclaimed. Weeks slowly turn into months. The owners simply cannot be located. Perhaps their contact information changed, their phone numbers were disconnected, they didn't speak the language of the country they were visiting, or their email inquiries went to spam folders and were ignored. Sometimes the passenger themselves forgets they even checked a bag, or the contents are so low in value they decide it is not worth the hassle of filing the paperwork to get it back. At this stage, the legal status of the luggage officially shifts from being a delayed item to being classified as unclaimed property. Contrary to popular belief, airlines do not simply throw these suitcases into a giant landfill or incinerator. International treaties, such as the Montreal Convention, alongside strict local consumer protection laws, require commercial carriers to make a diligent, heavily documented effort to reunite owners with their property over a specified statutory holding period. This period typically ranges from 30 to 90 days, depending on the jurisdiction and the specific airline's policies. During this holding period, baggage clerks engage in a process that borders on forensic investigation. If a bag has absolutely no exterior tags, they are legally permitted to open the suitcase in a controlled environment to search for any identifying clues. They look for prescription pill bottles with names on them, business cards tucked into side pockets, personalized agendas, wedding invitations, or even a slip of paper with a phone number. If they find a name, they cross-reference it with flight manifests to figure out who the bag belongs to. Once that statutory holding period fully expires and every single reasonable search avenue has been completely exhausted without success, the airline essentially takes ownership of the abandoned items. The bags then enter the secondary market through specialized, industrial-scale liquidation channels. In the United States, one of the most famous and fascinating destinations for unclaimed airline baggage is a massive retail operation located in Scottsboro, Alabama. Known as the Unclaimed Baggage Center, this unique enterprise has operated for decades. It purchases bulk lots of unclaimed luggage by the truckload from major airlines, but only after the carriers have officially closed the files and paid out financial compensation claims to the original passengers for their lost property. What happens inside these liquidation facilities is a staggering industrial-scale sorting process. Every single suitcase is cracked open and emptied onto massive sorting tables. Apparel and textiles are meticulously inspected. Millions of pieces of clothing are professionally laundered or dry cleaned in one of the largest commercial laundry facilities in the state, then tagged and hung on endless racks for retail sale to the general public. Electronics and valuables undergo a rigorous process. Laptops, tablets, digital cameras, e-readers, and smartphones are plugged in, charged, and comprehensively wiped of all personal data to comply with strict privacy regulations. They are then tested for functionality and priced for resale. High-end jewelry, gold chains, diamond rings, and luxury watches are authenticated by professional gemologists and specialists before being placed in glass display cases. Over the years, these sorting facilities have processed truly bizarre and extraordinary items left behind in the bellies of aircraft. Workers have uncovered ancient Egyptian artifacts, live musical instruments worth tens of thousands of dollars, pristine wedding dresses, fine art paintings, full suits of armor, and even specialized medical equipment. Items that are broken, unsanitary, or legally restricted from being sold, such as expired medications, perishable food, or personal documents containing sensitive financial data, are securely shredded, heavily recycled, or completely destroyed in strict compliance with federal privacy laws. Portions of the proceeds from these massive liquidation sales are often funneled directly into charitable foundations, community grants, and nonprofit organizations supported by the retailers and their partner airlines, ensuring that the lost items at least provide some positive societal impact. In recent years, the deep anxiety surrounding lost luggage has been dramatically altered by the explosion of consumer technology. Millions of travelers no longer blindly trust the airline's automated systems. They take matters into their own hands. Passengers now routinely drop small, coin-sized Bluetooth tracking devices directly into the lining of their suitcases before they zip them shut. These consumer trackers operate completely independently of the multi-billion-dollar airline IT systems. By leveraging massive crowdsourced networks of smartphones passing nearby, these tiny devices broadcast their real-time geographical coordinates directly to the owner's phone via encrypted Bluetooth low-energy signals. This has fundamentally shifted the power dynamic at the baggage service counter. In the past, when an airline employee looked at their computer and told a stranded, frustrated passenger that they had absolutely no idea where the bag was, the passenger had no choice but to accept it. Today, that same passenger can calmly pull out their smartphone, open a map application, and reveal the exact location of their bag in real time, sometimes down to the very cargo hold of an aircraft parked on a specific tarmac on the other side of the country. Airlines have been forced to take notice and adapt to this technological shift. Rather than viewing consumer trackers as a nuisance or a security threat, many major carriers have begun actively integrating customer-provided tracking links into their own customer service workflows. They are building systems that allow passengers to securely share temporary digital keys with airline agents, drastically expediting searches and saving the airline immense amounts of time and money in recovery efforts. Concurrently, airports and airlines continue to upgrade their own infrastructure. The push for pervasive RFID tagging is expanding globally. Automated robotics are being deployed to handle heavy lifting, reducing human error and physical strain. Real-time mobile app notifications now ping passengers' phones the exact moment their bag is scanned onto the aircraft, offering peace of mind before the plane ever leaves the ground. When you drop your suitcase off at the check-in desk, you are doing much more than checking a bag. You are entrusting your personal belongings to a hyper-complex, invisible machine operating tirelessly on a global scale. It is a system built of spinning rubber belts, firing lasers, radio waves, underground tunnels, heavy machinery, complex algorithms, and human endurance. While occasional hiccups, severe weather delays, and mechanical glitches will inevitably cause a suitcase to take an unexpected detour, the modern air travel network remains one of humanity's greatest logistical achievements. The vast majority of bags arrive right alongside their owners, perfectly on time, and even those that wander off into the labyrinth are almost always tracked down, proving that behind the stress and dread of an empty baggage carousel lies a remarkably resilient, brilliant system designed to bring your journey full circle.